Today's topic, how to win any argument. You heard right. I'm your host. Now, how do you win any argument? Whether or not you are in fact right. The secret to winning an argument isn't being right. It's making your opponent look wrong. Okay? Now, arguing is a useless activity for uncovering the truth. The real purpose of arguing is to assert intellectual dominance. Okay? Now, it is basically the mental version of a fist fight. Brain to brain instead of head to head. Now, okay? Just like winning a fist fight doesn't make you right, neither does winning an argument. The morality we all follow is largely based on the rules of the winner. Might makes right in the end. Okay. It's very important to understand this because when you understand the truth about your situation, you will have a unique advantage over your opponent. Okay? Now that we understand the why of arguments, how do we make sure we never lose another argument to anyone? I'm going to provide 3 easy steps that anybody can follow. Okay? Number 1, size up your opponent. Just like in a real fight, it's wise to size up your opponent before you even consider fight. Don't fight battles you can't win. Okay? You need to identify a clear weakness before going in for the attack. Okay? Now, when deciding to argue or not, you first have to gauge your opponent's true knowledge of the topic at hand. Don't get into an argument right away. If you disagree with a person, start out by asking very deep and specific questions. Ask them to explain how they came to their conclusions and where they got the information from. Okay. When a person is very knowledgeable on a topic, they'll actually be very happy you're asking these questions. This is a sign the argument might not be worth your time. However, if the person becomes flustered, triggered, or angry when you ask them to support their claims, it is very likely they have limited knowledge. This is a clear weakness and a green light to proceed. Okay? Number 2, look for contradictions. Okay? First, you need to know that there are basically 2 types of arguers. There's the honest arguer and the dishonest arguer. The honest arguer will only say what they believe to be true. The dishonest arguer will lie, cheat, and switch topics to win the argument. The best way to win an argument with an honest arguer is to do a lot of listening and very little talking. Okay? You want to ask lots of probing questions. Every answer should lead to new questions. Confuse your opponent and take them down a web of confusion where they don't know which way is up and which way is down. They become so confused by your questions that they are bound to contradict themselves eventually, at which point you pounce on them and say, I thought you said this, now you're saying that. Explain. The reality is, right, this person is not an expert on this topic, because if they were, you would never have identified a weakness and decided to argue with them in the first place. So, since they're not an expert, all you have to do is ask them enough questions to back them into a wall. Eventually, they will say something they cannot support with facts or evidence. Once this occurs, all you have to say is, well, if you don't know, then why do you believe? Okay? And that's checkmate. Because once you have pointed out that your opponent does not know something, their credibility is pulverized, and they can no longer continue arguing and be believed and taken seriously. This is a very powerful technique to win an argument. Okay? A lack of knowledge in your opponent destroys their credibility. Remember this. When it comes to the dishonest arguer, things get a little bit trickier. Okay? These people are fast, slick, and ruthless. They care more about winning than being right. Okay? They know it's all about power and not about who is right or wrong. They see an argument for what it is, a mental fight to the death, winner take all, and they will win at any cost. Now, how do you destroy these fools and make them look stupid? Well, once again, you look for contradictions and ask probing questions. The main challenge you will face is lies. These people will lie and state false facts and sources just to win the argument. You have to call them out on this every single time. But how will you know when they are lying? Simple. They will likely dive into personal attacks, intimidation, and topic switching to buy themselves time to formulate these lies. This is when you must go in for the kill. The minute they change the topic or launch into a personal attack, you simply say checkmate. This will fluster them even more. And once they are flustered in an emotional state, you have the advantage. You see, cooler heads prevail when arguing. Okay? Now, they have nothing else to throw at you. By saying checkmate, you are basically saying bullshit and shining light on the fact that they have no logical argument, thus destroying their credibility. On to number 3. Now, possibly the most important item on the list. Without number 3, you risk possibly losing every argument you engage in, okay? So, number 3 is very important. Listen close. Number 3 is simply never take a strong position when arguing. I repeat, never take a strong position when arguing. Example. Your position should always be questioning the truth of your opponent's statements, but not necessarily taking the opposite position. Okay. Then proceed to poke holes in their argument until you back them into a wall. And proceed to say, if you don't know, why do you believe? Okay. Constant questions. Everything they say, question, question, question. You will drive them insane. And then you just say, checkmate, you don't know what you're talking about. You lose the argument. You're a dipshit. Okay? It's really that simple. If you don't know, why do you believe? Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And while you're at it, watch my other flippin' videos, please. Don't just watch this video and leave the channel. Watch the other videos, please, and thank you. Cheers.